All right, getting started. Let's just jump right in. This is Leila Hormozi's video on how to become a leader people respect. Super interested to actually see what she says. She's a total boss. So let's just jump right in.
In this video today, I'm going to be talking about what it takes to become an effective leader. And this comes from the years of trial and error that I have had, all the mistakes that I have made, so that hopefully you don't have to incur them as well. Most people that are successful experience feelings of self-doubt and insecurity because they care. A lot of people ask me, how do you overcome imposter syndrome?
Definitely true. I think that's a sign of a good leader. There's a really famous saying that those who want to lead are terrible leaders, but those who don't want to lead end up being the best leaders. I think something along those lines is what Steve Jobs actually said about selecting really good leaders to put on his teams.
Because maybe they're starting a business for the first time, they feel inadequate, or they feel like they're doubting themselves. And what I say is, good fucking luck, because I still feel that way. Like, I think it's such a misconception that people don't feel these feelings, and that's why they accomplish these things. I absolutely still have those feelings. I've had 3 businesses. Now we have acquisition.com. So do I believe I could become a billionaire? I have more belief now than I did before, but do I fully believe it's going to happen? I don't think I'll feel that until it happens.
Yeah, one of the things is as you start into something, you become more and more confident about what you're doing, and then your confidence goes way down, and that's because you realize how much you don't know, and then you have this giant trough, and that's where a lot of people give up because they realize they know nothing about it until it goes back up.
You need to accept that those things are going to be there and those feelings will be there, and trying to get rid of them is a waste of time. Beating yourself up is not productive, and I tended to do that a lot to myself. I remember getting Glassdoor reviews that were young, dumb founders. It fucking sucked. It felt like a knife. I am working my ass off, and I'm not letting the
Gotta be young and dumb to be old and wise. I mean,
failure stall me. The less you beat yourself up, the more you take that same energy and you put it towards finding a new solution, the better you become. What's the biggest mistake of inexperienced leaders? It's actually that they don't know how to manage the dichotomy of holding people accountable, but also being kind. So they tend to go really far in one way or the other. Either they're very mean and they're punishing and they rule with fear, and so people do things because they're scared of them, not because they respect them. Because of that, you're always in the dark about your company's real problems. Everybody just does what you say. They don't ever express their own opinion. They don't ever tell you the truth about what they really think. On the other end of the spectrum,
definitely one of the biggest issues with building a team is this specific issue.
you have people who are so nice that they coddle everybody. When you coddle people, you tend to give people a false sense of security because they're not really in tune with what their performance really looks like, and inexperienced.
Yeah, and one of those things, and this is what I found, especially working with sales reps, is you have to be willing to have really hard conversations with them and say, hey, this needs to improve. If this doesn't improve, this is not going to work out.
This leader doesn't know how to meet in the middle. I tended to be on the coddling side. In the beginning, had one-on-ones with people on the team. I would never tell them if I felt like something could improve because I felt like that was punishing. I've learned how to give feedback in a way that encourages people rather than punishes them and makes them feel less than. Executive presence is a sense of confidence that you only gain through experience. Oftentimes when somebody doesn't have executive presence, it's because they aren't putting themselves in enough of those situations. They're not speaking up enough. They're not having enough of the hard conversations. They tend to back off. I think most people don't ever gain this because they're too afraid to fail in front of others. I mean, I do it all the time. Maybe even when I'm having an off day, I see something say.
Yeah, failure, biggest thing I can add on that is you have to be willing to fail to achieve success. Faster and more often you're willing to fail, the more likely you're going to figure out what it actually takes to succeed in your market, niche, business, whatever it is.
Something stupid in front of the team, but I get right back up. I will either apologize, I'll say, oh, I missaid that. Oh, maybe I meant this instead. People with executive presence advocate for themselves and they act in a way where others can feel their sense of self-belief. Asking people for their insight is the most valuable thing you can do. And the more people you ask, you will see the pattern more clearly and it'll become clear to you what you need to do.
I was gonna just throw this out there. Love the old retention edits. I think it's so funny how they went so hard into this on Alex Hormozi's media team, and now they've swung completely back, doing more content but less edited overall.
To underestimate somebody's feedback to us if we feel like, oh, maybe they're not as smart as me, or they're not in my role, so they don't know. If they're not the CEO of a company, they can't give me feedback. I think the best feedback I've ever gotten has been from people that are 2 layers removed from me in the company. I think sometimes the people with the best feedback are the ones who don't spend as much time with you. Learn the lesson and move on. The only way to gain some of these skills is to make the mistakes and experience it for yourself. Being great doesn't mean not making mistakes. In fact, to be great, you will make more mistakes. I used to think I was like an exception to the rule and that I could somehow find a way to be the one who didn't have to make mistakes. And then I looked at some of the most iconic leaders over time and they've made huge mistakes. You can't ask for the wisdom without incurring the mistakes that create the lessons to gain the wisdom. The bigger
Funniest thing, I was listening to a podcast on Acquired. I think it was the AC2 podcast. They actually had not Jim Sinegal, Mercy, Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks, or one of the founders of Starbucks, on, and they actually interviewed him talking about Starbucks. One of the biggest mistakes he said was not patenting the drink cup idea he had, which is basically any of the coffee cups you get from Starbucks was their idea, but he just went to the manufacturer and said, "Hey, this is what I need to do. Can you do this?" And actually, I think gave them the design for it, but he didn't patent it. But now it's like Starbucks himself would be infinitely more wealthy if it had been for that, because it's like the standard of coffee cup drinks in the U.S. and they just make so many of them. Like the licensing on that would be insane.
The bigger the goal is and the better you want to be, the more you have to accept that you're going to have to eat shit to get there. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true. You have to decide what's worth it. Every level that you go through is going to take a certain amount of work to get there. And if you're not willing to put in the work or eat crap, like Leila says, you're just never going to get there.
That makes someone a great leader. If you look at like the best leaders in the world, they have a clear vision of where they're going and they're able to communicate that vision to others. If I think of the best leaders that I know and that are probably like pretty iconic, it's like they have a very big vision that people can get behind. People get behind it because they know that they also care about them.
Trying to start your business and you just don't know where to start.
built the most amazing.
You don't know what to do. You're confused. Yeah. Overall, I think that was. I'm gonna go over how to get the foundation of your business. Oh gosh, where's that audio coming from? Yeah, hopefully we got it there. Mercy. There we go. Anyways, just to wrap this up. Should have had that button ready to click sooner when the video I did. I hit pause and then video was over to not pause. Anyways, really good information there. I think a lot of that applies. I mean, a lot of it's kind of at the point where you're at like 3 to 5 million a year and you're actually building teams. The hard thing is when you're starting out and you bring on your first team members, how to really apply that. And a lot of that, like there's 2 or 3 things that I thought were really applicable that I've kind of done when growing our business, but it's not like you said, not coddling, but also not inducing fear. You want to be able to have an open conversation with your employees or contractors or whoever it is that you have working for you to help grow your business. That way you can have the most productive conversations. And if that doesn't happen, if you can't have like utter honesty in your business, it's really going to hold you back from being able to scale faster. Other than that, that's pretty much all I wanted to say on that video. It's just a super quick video today. I am dressed to go on vacation. So we'll be headed out shortly. And yeah, just really cool video she did. It was posted a while ago, so a lot of people I don't think were able to watch it. It was one of her lower viewed videos, but there's just a lot of nuggets in there to really pull out and like